What if I told you that I can see how much money your competitors are making? Not estimates, not guesses, the actual dollar amount that they made yesterday. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, it's not. And in this video, I'm going to show you how some of the fastest growing brands are using this insider information to launch products that are almost guaranteed to succeed. Before I show you this insane tool, let me tell you a quick story. Last year, a friend launched what he thought was going to be his next hero product. He spent $50,000 on products after seeing some very promising Google Trends data. But you want to know how much he sold? $3,000 total. The rest is all sitting in his warehouse. But here's the crazy part. If he had access to the tool that I'm about to show you, he would have known that his competitor tried the exact same product and failed. Here's what most e-com brands do wrong. They rely on these four things. Google Trends data that's very difficult to interpret, Ahrefs data that's usually months old, estimated traffic from tools like SimilarWeb, and the most dangerous of all, gut feeling. But what if you could see that your competitor launched a product last week and made $47,362 in their first 7 days? Or better yet, what if you saw that they launched a product and it completely flopped, saving you from making that same expensive mistake? Let me show you something that's going to blow your mind. This is Particle. And what I'm about to show you feels like having a spy camera on your competitor's accounting department. Let's look at a real example. See this everywhere belt bag from Lululemon? Most people would guess that it's just doing okay. But look at this. 75,000 units and $2.9 million in revenue in sales in just the last 30 days. If we scroll up, we can see that they sold $9.5 million in these everyday belt bags over the last 30-day period. That's 248.9 thousand total units. And not only can we see the sales and their inventory over time, we can also come back down here where I was showing you the black one originally, and we can see all the different numbers of units and sales by each colorway. Pretty crazy. And they've got it broken down here as well. You can see the price over time, the inventory over time. It's bananas. But finding your next hero product isn't just about copying what's already working. It's about spotting opportunities that nobody else sees. Let me show you something amazing. This is called white space analysis. You enter your competitors, and then Particle automatically compares your product line against your competitors to find gaps. In this example, we're looking at Melbourne Golf, and we're using this Frida skirt as an example. So in this example, we can see that Melbourne only has red and purple, but when we look at their competitors, Aloe, their best sellers are in white and gray. And just by offering those two new variants, that's an instant profit just sitting there on the table. But here's where it gets really interesting. Let's click over here to product types, and you can dive into entire categories that you might be missing. See these leggings? That's not a gap. That's an opportunity with a proven demand. Next, I want to show you how you can take a look at competitors' pricing and how their discounting goes over time, as well as how it may possibly affect the sales of particular SKUs. Inside Particle, we're going to go to Company Explorer, and we're going to use Gymshark as the example here. This is kind of like the main page. I'm going to click on pricing. And this is kind of going to give me, well, first of all, show me their best selling products. But then if you scroll down, you can kind of see a price distribution across like all of their products. Well, you can see the different product types they have. So if you want to like compare them to other categories, but then pricing over time. So like right now we have like the last 365 days, and you can see this is like the average discount over time. So just at a glance, it almost looks like Gymshark is discounting more over time, which means they're probably pushing harder to make more sales. But you can also look at some other cool stuff. So if we come back to sales and go to everyday joggers that I pick, everyday seamless leggings, and this time frame we have here is like over the last year, and you'll see The red line's inventory and the blue line is sales. You'll see kind of like around the whole Black Friday period, like through November and Christmas time, they had a huge lift, and it seemed like their sales had declined a little bit here. But what also is cool, so we know that like starting their velocity really started to pick up somewhere between near the end of October. Like, I don't know the exact date here, but we can come down here too, and we can see like how was the price of this product over time. So we can see that the average price of this product didn't really change much to influence that original spike that I showed you, but the price did drop from $38 to $30.40, basically between Black Friday and when the deadline for shipping hit, and then things went back to normal. There's another little bump here at the beginning of October, which could have contributed to this as well, but you can kind of make some kind of conclusion on how pricing and discounting may affect sales on a particular product. You also can get a pretty good idea of like how to price your products based on the performance of the competitors. All right, Ryan, all of this is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing it to me, blah, 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 blah. But how do I actually put this to use? A lot of times people watch their competitors and they see what they're doing and they just assume that everything is killing it for them. In this example, I'll pretend like I own a creatine brand and I see Create Wellness. They're blabbing all over social media talking about how great their product is. And I see that they are launching all these additional flavors. And I'm thinking, wow, multiple flavors must be really helping the business. But when you dig a little deeper and you look, like here's their top selling products. Their main product and their daily performance gummies are the two products that are actually selling. If you come down to any of the extra flavors they've put out, and the time frame I'm looking at here is the last quarter roughly, you'll see that like the total sales in this period were $4 million. And the blue raspberry did 95,000. This watermelon flavor did 86,000. Their mix pack did 67,000. And this new limited edition cinnamon cider did $58,000. Like $58,000 sounds like a lot of money in a vacuum, but when that's a limited edition SKU, that probably took a decent amount of energy to create those SKUs, to create the packaging, to do all the work to promote it. For $60,000, that seems like a massive dud to me. And if I was working on a creatine brand, I would be avoiding choosing multiple flavors, at least as an option, because it doesn't seem like it's adding that much value for the amount of extra work required to maintain this. I probably spend more time formulating my first flavor and making sure that it had the largest appeal instead of making the mistake of complicating my business for very little upside. Before I show you how to access all of this data yourself, let me save you from making two expensive mistakes I see brands make all the time. The first is chasing high revenue products without verifying the margin data. I'm a big advocate of having at least a 70% gross margin on a product. Now, you can't see the gross margins inside of Particle, but once you get an idea of what product it is that you want to sell, you can easily go and talk to your manufacturer or co-packer and get a quote. But don't get too excited until you make sure the numbers make sense, because if they're below 70%, you're going to have a really difficult time doing any sort of advertising. Another issue I see people make outside of Particle is they will see something is trending, whether it's in Google Trends or in Ahrefs or whatever tool they were using previously, and they'll assume that the trend is an ongoing trend. But there's a lot of times that things are trending around a particular season. And these ones are kind of obvious, but obviously swimwear is much more popular in summer. Pumpkin-related flavored products are probably considerably more popular in the fall. And you just need to make sure, I mean, this one seems kind of obvious, but you'd be surprised how many people don't consider what level of demand there is all year. And you know what? Being a seasonal product is also fine. You just need to be aware that you have periods where you're going to shine considerably better. Here's your exact game plan for the next 24 hours on how to implement this tool. First off, And if you've been in business a while, you probably already know this information, but I want you to map out your 3 top competitors. This is absolutely a necessity, especially if you want to use the white space tool, because they need to be added to your account on Particle in order to even use that tool. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to go in the Particle and analyze their last 5 product launches. All 3 of them. What worked, what didn't work, what did you assume worked but actually didn't, kind of like I showed you in those creatine examples. And then the third thing that I want you to do is look for patterns in both their winners and losers. You can do this super easily by going to Company Explore. And for this example, we'll choose Lululemon. Once you're in here and you click Explore, you'll see there's a bunch of options up top. So the one you want to look at for product launches is events. And inside of here, you can see things like product launch, variant restock, basically a ton of different information about your competitors. So for this example, it looks like, let's go look at this one. Looks like they launched 183 new products on September 24th. So we can explore this. We can see the sales over time across these SKUs. We can even break it down by by what sold the most. So right now we've got that listed in descending from the top. Right now is the Scuba Mid-Rise Wide Leg Pant from Lululemon that was the biggest winner from all of this. You can see things like how much revenue, how many they sold per day, the sell-through rate, the confidence, and then we can even dig in to that particular item and see, like, this is kind of like how the product scaled up. Inventory dropped down. Obviously, we're entering a new month in a slower period, but we can see all the different data. We can see the variants of this product. We can see variants by color. Just super easy to dig through your competitors' last 5 launches and just really get an idea of what's working and what's not. Look, the days of guessing what products are going to work and which ones aren't are over. Your competitors are already using this data to make multi-million-dollar decisions. The only question is, will you be next? And if you want to try Particle yourself, I've placed a link to it in the description. It's a fantastic tool. I'm absolutely loving it. Highly recommend checking it out. See you in the next video.